name's Anna Wallenten. Thank you so much, Jesse, for the introduction. First of all, I just want to say, yes, Jesse and I have worked together a bit on these life things called what do I do with my life kind of thing, right? And I remember when this was all in her spirit. I won't say it was in your head, it was like in your being. And to now see it coming out like this is absolutely incredible. And this is partly why I do what I do. Because when people fulfill their mission, their purpose, their obsession, like how can I not want to work with something like that? So I just want to say congratulations for organizing all of this. Great work. Yeah. So that's me. I work as a peak performance expert in Dubai. And you might wonder, like, what is that? Like, how does that kind of person work? Well, I have always been interested in people. Like, I'm interested in what makes one person like this and one person like that, and what's the similar between people and the differences between people. And when I was 5, I said to my dad, you know what, I'm going to be a psychologist. And my dad said, no, you know, my dad also being very sensitive, just like me. Oh my God, it will be too much, and you know, you'll take people's problems on and this and that. And so I chose a different career, and I started out my first career in music, which I studied for 8 years. And then I came to a point where I'm like, you know what, this thing about people and this whole thing, it became bigger and bigger, and it turned into a massive obsession, to the point where it's almost hard for me to socialize with people without thinking, okay, how can we maximize? How can we maximize? What is it that this person needs? And so this obsession turned into something that I studied, and I did my Bachelor in International Communication, obsessed with anthropology, what's the different cultures and religions and all kinds of stuff. And having spent almost my entire life in the Middle East, obviously this is the place where I feel most connected to cultures, because we're all different, but we're absolutely the same, right? So this is basically what I do. Next slide, my darling. So this session today is going to be very interactive. Okay, you're not going to have time to check your phones or check your it's okay, kids, it's okay. Or fall asleep or anything. What I want you to do is have a pen and a paper ready. And I always say the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. I'm not here to talk to you, I'm here to be with you. I'm here to interact with you. So I want you to just throw up any questions that you have, anything you're wondering, anything you want to share, just throw it out. Because this is your session. I'm just here as a facilitator. So the first question that I want you to answer on your piece of paper is, what am I chasing in my life right now? It's a really easy question. You know, that question you ask yourself every day, what am I chasing in my life? And you know, for some people it might be, you know, I want to buy a new car. You know, some people might be chasing the perfect body. I'm going to do it like this, because what is the perfect body? We don't know that. So whatever you're chasing in your life right now, what is it? And if you don't know, by the way, don't worry about it. It can be a question mark. We'll figure it out, right? So when everybody is writing, obviously, when you're done, just look up at me so I know who is, when we're all done, I'll move you on to the next. Is it a hard question, Jesse? Jasmine, I think you're one of those people that's very, what's the word?
I don't know.
I see this. Yes, focus is a good word. Yeah, focus. Efficient and focused, yeah. Yeah. And by the way, it can be more than one thing. It can be like, you know, I don't know, happiness and a new boyfriend. I don't know, it could be anything. What do you believe it's going to give you? So what you're chasing, what you believe it's going to give you, what's the emotion that you're hoping to feel once you have fulfilled whatever it is that you're chasing? Yeah? Cool. Next slide, Missy. There she is. So I would kind of say that at the end of the day, what we want, and by the way, this is a very broad, what we want is we want to be happy somehow, right? We just want to be happy. Like happiness can mean buying a new car. Happiness can mean, you know, winning a race. It can mean getting a pay rise. It can mean, I don't know, traveling to the moon, I don't know, but whatever it is for you, most of the time what we want is actually to be happy. So one question then is, what's your happiness scale? If you take your life, you imagine that your life has a million different facets, different areas, and you would like take a line and you kind of make a line through everything. Where would your happiness scale be today? Not next week when you're traveling on that trip or whatever it is, but today. Like, what is it today? If you'd say 1 to 10, how happy am I in my life right now? And this number, by the way, I want you to write it down because it's going to be important. We'll use this number as we move forward. Everything builds on each other in this session. Isn't that great? So good. I'm so excited. Who likes coffee, by the way? Right? Oh, everybody almost. Did you put your hand up? Okay, just checking. I might have to change you otherwise because, I don't trust. I might not trust you. All right, have we got our happiness 1 to 10? Yeah. Was it hard? Were you surprised by the number that you came up with? Was it like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Yeah? Somebody's got some secrets over here. Got some smiles on her face. No. No? Yeah? Over on this side, was it hard to like get that? No? Cool. All right, let's move on. So, does anybody? It's raining. Isn't that great? That's fantastic. Okay, does anybody know who this guy is? Avicii. So obviously I'm biased because he's Swedish. So next picture is going to be a Volvo car, but no, it's not. And then IKEA and then meatballs and Avicii, yeah. All right, Avicii. Does anybody not know who he is? It's fine if you don't. He's DJ. Huh? Avicii is like one of the big DJs, basically. Right.
What's Eddie Dot?
Yeah. In Oman, actually. Moving on. Next picture. Yeah, I've been asked that so many times. Isn't that great? Hey? Amy Winehouse, right. I wonder how old she was. She had earrings there. She looks really young, right? Huh? Yes! You win one of those shots. There's one left there. Like, Amy Winehouse. Next picture. Who's that? Robin Williams. Next picture. That's amazing. Who's that Marilyn Monroe? Nobody never guesses. Marilyn Monroe, yeah? Do you know who Marilyn Monroe? I can't say that word. Marilyn Monroe. Too many M's. So what do all these 4 people have in common?
Suicide or OD.
So all of these 4 people killed themselves. That's the truth. They all killed themselves at different stages of their life. Avicii was, I think, 27 something. What was Amy? 28? 26 something? They all killed themselves, and they had everything from the external world. They had money, fame, they could buy any car, probably get any girl, any boy they wanted. They could travel the world, drink champagne every day, if that's what you're into. Where are you? They could do everything they wanted, and yet they chose to kill themselves. Now, why is that? Yeah. There's one thing called our state. What I call the state is the state of mind that, again, I'm going to use the word choice a lot in my talk today, because choice is the one thing that we think we don't have, but we actually always have. There's one thing called state, and you choose which state of mind you want to come from on a consistent basis every single day. Most people don't believe they have that choice. That's why most people live in victim mode. It's not bad, it's not good, it just is what it is. Right? So what happens with the next picture? What is your state, autopilot state? What state is your autopilot? So, who's that? I'm just kidding. I don't know. Do you think his breath is good? Nice? It smells nice. Nice. Maybe not. So think about it. What is your state? What's the autopilot that your state is on a consistent basis? So what I mean by that, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, is like when you wake up in the morning, if you would take the temperature on your state, are you mostly happy? Are you mostly kind of 5 out of 10 average? Are you mostly really low, like on a consistent basis? What is your autopilot for your state in your life right now? Write it down on paper. And if you don't know, then have a think about it.
What is a constant state of mind?
Yeah. And by the way, your state is a product of your thoughts. So here comes the thoughts. They penetrate your brain, makes you feel a certain way. It's a reflection of what goes into your brain, right? Most of the time, we don't have a gate that says, oh, I don't want to think that. Yep, I'm going to think that. Da, da, da. We kind of have the gate open and it all floods, and then we have a state of mind that we think that we haven't chosen, but we actually have.
Is it sort of like optimism, or think different from being optimistic?
So a state of mind is like an emotion attached to it. So if you're optimistic, it could be an optimistic state of mind. Like you're looking through the glasses, that you're looking for the things that are possible, which makes you optimistic. If you're looking at the glasses of, I'm looking at everything that's negative or not possible, maybe it makes your state of mind negative. So yeah, that could definitely be a state of mind.
Can I put a quote instead of the words?
You can do whatever you want. And by the way, it's no right or wrong. And by the way, if you have any like questions or you want to like, Anna, I don't get this or whatever, just like this is, like I said before, I'm just hanging out, but I want you to like hang with me. And that goes for you girls back there as well. Okay, next slide, please. So, who's that? We touched on him in the last presentation. I'm so happy I get to come back to them. Anybody not know who that is? And by the way, you can put your hand up because we might not. I mean, remember how many different cultures we're in here. He might not be like, you know, Michael Jackson is important in one culture, maybe another culture, they don't know who he is. Most people probably know Michael Jackson. Just saying. Donald Trump is what? The President of the United States of America. Now, we can have opinions about that. This session is not going to be on Donald Trump. So I do want you to, like, I put that out there first because, you know, yes, he is important in the world because he's the president, but this is more important that I want to talk about today. Now, Donald Trump became president, and he's not a politician. Is that weird?
Actually, there has been in history presidents who aren't politicians.
Donald Trump has a lot of things that, you know, that he does. There's one thing about Donald Trump that I admire. And it's the next word. I'm going to use you as an example, Loriana. Loriana is one of the most certain people that I know. You're very certain in things that you believe in. And with certainty comes a certain presence, right? So if I have a question around something that you're really good at, I'll come to you because, she holds certainty. Now, he has certainty, otherwise he wouldn't be the president. I mean, yes, we can think, yeah, you know, he made it there, this and that happened. But at the end of the day, no. If he wasn't certain, then he would never be the president. And what I'm going to do at the end of this session, I'm going to help you to see ways where you can increase your certainty so that you can show up as a role model. And what I want from this session is for you to show up more of a leader in every place of your life. Not just at work, not just in your career, with your money, with your training, but with your body, with your relationships, with everything. So that you can be certain in every area of your life. Wouldn't that be great? Because if we're certain in one area and we're really uncertain in another area, we tend to do more of that. And so this doesn't get attention, and then that never changes. So we're not really certain, because then when we pull out the line of how happy am I, we're not really that happy, because that's still there, right? So if we can elevate and raise the standards of how we show up everywhere, and we can be more certain, then our happiness will lift, right? Let's move on. So I'm going to tell you a funny story from my career as a... This is like one of my first... Yeah, that's just me. No, I just brought her in there like, this is you. No, with about 500 more kilos. But anyway, this is the World Championships. And I would tell you a story about my powerlifting career, which, by the way, started when I was 40 plus. So I started lifting after I met my partner, who is obsessed like me, but in a different way. And that's why I'm with him, because he's obsessed, completely obsessed with what he does, which I think is very sexy, to be really honest. That's the truth, right? So he said, oh, I do this thing called powerlifting. I was like, oh, what's that? I know. I mean, I've been training for the last 35 years. I know what that is, lifting weights. He got me into powerlifting. My first ever competition, I'm pretty confident. I was like, yeah, you know, this is great. I can do this. This is fine. First competition I ever did was the Swedish Championships, which is a little bit intimidating because I hadn't done one of those prior meets. I mean, you know, as we're speaking here to the World Champs, you know how it is when you're coming to and if you've not done one of the smaller meets where it's like community thing and you get put on a stage and there's cameras and there's people and they're watching you, and I'm used to talking on stage or moving on stage, inspiring a big crowd, because I also work with training classes. I'm not used to silence, being strong for about 3 seconds. Sometimes it takes longer. So I got up on stage, and you know, we do in powerlifting, those of you that do it, we start with squats. That was my Achilles heel. I pulled it off. I thought, yeah, I can do this. Bench, pretty much, I love bench. Then I came to deadlift. I was a bit like, yeah, you know, I can do this. This is good. I've done that weight. It's there on the floor. Let's do this. So I walked in, and the commentator, and I knew this was televised. Everybody's watching it, my family, everything. Silence. Here comes Anna, our first attempt. I'm here to do it. I'm like, yep. So the bar is loaded. Yep. And Jasmine, you're a deadlift person. I bet this hasn't happened to you. Oh, well, at the Swedish Championships. Oh, that's the other one. That was at the European. I pick up the bar. I tried to lift it. It didn't move at all. At least there it moved. Didn't move at all. Zero. My whole body started shaking. The commentator was like, I don't really know what's happening here. She missed her first lift. Oh my God, if she misses her next two, she's out. And I thought, shit, sorry. But really, I needed to use that word because that's how I felt. So I went out to my trainer, which was my partner, and I said, they put the wrong weight on the bar, and this is just not fair. And he said, what the hell are you talking about? I said, it was the wrong weight. It didn't move. And he said, Anna, it's the Swedish Championships. I said, I know, but people make mistakes. Come on. It's not like they're gods. You know, they could put the wrong weight. It happens. You know, maybe they thought it was the next one. He said, what was your state of mind when you went out? I said, I just thought I'd go out and pull this weight because I've done it like 1,000 times. He smacked me around literally, and he said, you go out there and you dominate that bar. This bullshit. Your state of mind was bullshit. And I thought, fuck you, man. I got so angry. And I was really that angry. I was so freaking angry, I can't even tell you. I walked out, and then the commentator, like, here she comes again. Let's hope she does it this time. And I thought, you ass. I picked up that bar, and it just went boom off the floor. Same weight. Now, what does that tell you about this whole thing that I'm talking about with that ugly thing, your state? How much does your state affect your life? If you could be in peak performance state in your relationship, at work, in your training, with your body, with your friends, with everything, what would be different in your life if you turned it up? Not just when you go to the gym and train, but you turn it up everywhere. What would be different? Can you see how your life would change radically? Isn't that cool? Nothing has to change externally. It's all in here. But it's so easy to blame. Oh, it's not my fault. I didn't sleep last night. It's not my fault. They're evil to me. We do it all the time, but we're going to go through that. We got a lot of fun stuff to do today. So, end of that powerlifting story. Let's move on. So, here is the thing. I can't really see that. 3 factors that determines your state of mind. Factor number 1. What do you choose to focus on? So, when we're sitting in here, for example, it's raining outside. Do you focus on the rain? Do you not focus on the rain? Your experience of this room will be different, right? Your life will look different depending on what you choose to focus on. For example, I like parties. I'm not talking about drinking, I'm talking about parties. Like life is a party for me. Everything I do, I like to celebrate stuff to the point where my partner thinks I'm nuts. He doesn't even celebrate birthdays or Christmas, which for me is nuts. Because I think you have one life, why don't you celebrate? But anyway, that's a different story. So imagine if your life is like a party. So you go into a party, and then on this side, you guys are having so much fun. You're like dancing, there's like woohoo, you're busting some moves. This side of the room, you guys are fighting, smashing each other, pulling your hair out, whatever. I go into this party, if I'm looking at this side, I'm gonna leave and think, this party is crap. This was awful. I had the worst time of my life. I look at this side, I'm thinking, this party is amazing. Your life is like that every day. You can choose everything that you choose to focus on. Isn't that cool? Now the next question then is, when you know what you focus on, what meaning are you going to give it? It says, do you, if you can't see them. What meaning do you give it? Does that mean it was an awful party, or was it a fun party? Or what meaning do you give it? It's raining outside. Do you give it the meaning that, oh, I hate rain, can't believe it rains, awful? Or do you give the meaning that, wow, I love rain, it's so refreshing? Right?
Depends where you live.
Where you live.
Nice, wow, when you live in London.
I'm going to tweak that, and you're right. I'm going to tweak that to, it has to do with where you choose to live emotionally.
I'll take it.
Right? With a little bit of spice on it. I'm not making this God yes or no. I'm just giving you some insights you might have to think about. You might think this whole stuff is crap. You know, it's up to you. But I'm just giving you some things that could work, maybe, maybe not. So what action are you going to take? Are you going to move them from your country where it rains, for example? So these 3 things, what determines your state, what you focus on, what that means to you, and what action you take. And we do this consistently every single day without even knowing it. Every day, we make meaning to things, we take action. Or we make meaning to things, and most of the time, we don't take action. Because when we don't know what to do, we don't do anything, but that's also taking action, but then we're taking action as losers. But we do it all the time. We do it, I do it, everybody does it, right? I do it in certain situations more than others. Okay, let's move on. So there's 3 ways that you can change your state. That's the Burj Al Arab. You know that, I think. It's nice, isn't it? Actually, I want to tell you, when that was built, I was living in a compound that's now the Madinat, because this was back in the days since I moved to Dubai in 1992. And I remember sitting on the beach when they built that thing, and my friend who lived in the villa next to us had calculated, and he said, you know what, if that falls, because that was the first big thing they made in Dubai, if that falls, it's going to miss my house with 1 meter. I've already calculated, we're fine. Because my house was the next one. It's true, that's what it was like. It was right there. 3 ways that we can change the state, our state, on a consistent everyday basis. Number 1, this is my favorite. And by the way, I did a presentation similar at Citibank, and there was a girl that got really upset with this first thing. She said, Anna, I've had a facelift and I'm still feeling the same way. What do you mean about face? I hadn't prepared myself for that comment, but obviously now I know that that's a comment that is very relevant, by the way. So when I mean face, I don't mean how you look, I mean your emotional face. You know, if your face is like, ooh, grumpy, right? You're going to feel a certain way, but if your face is smiley, you feel a different way. If your body is slouched like this, you're going to feel a certain way, and if you upright like this, you'll feel a different way. That's what I mean by face. It's just for all of you that have questions around that. Okay, number 2, what we focus on. If you wake up in the morning and you focus on things that are crap in your life, your state's going to be crap. Huh?
So you get what you think about.
That's it. And it's the thing is, it's not rocket science, but we forget. Because we've got routines and rituals and habits that we do every day that has made us into the person that we are. Because you are a product of your thoughts and your habits, right? If I think crappy thoughts, I will feel crappy, my habits will be crappy, my life is crappy, and then I'm surprised that I get depressed. Sorry?
You transfer it to the family.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's contagious. Isn't it funny, though, that crappy energy and negative energy is contagious, but it's also kind of comforting? Because if you feel crappy, you can talk to somebody, and they're also feeling... And then it's like, oh, yeah, we hate that person. Then you talk, and you feel bondy. But if somebody's really happy, then they get annoyed at you. How many times have people told me, Anna, you're so annoying. You're loud, you're happy, and what's wrong with you? Oh, no, I have. I was always told, every single time in school, I was told, you're too loud. You're too much. Even at job interviews with Emirates. Anna, you have too much personality. That's now in my good books, in my CV. That's right. But that's true, because it feels as if being happy is harder than being negative. Looking at things that are great is harder than being negative. That is the connotation, and that's why it's so easy to fall into traps. Right? I don't know. I mean, maybe you have different opinions about this, but what do you focus on? What's number 3? Affirmations. What do you say to yourself? This one is a massive one. What's going on now? It was still for a long time. Now it's starting to shake, especially here. Look at that. It's raining men? I'm just kidding. Okay. Can you see it, though? It's a bit, I don't know why it started all of a sudden. What you say to yourself, that's a huge one, because the most evil person in the world for you is you. I worked with thousands, literally thousands of people through my career as a peak performance coach. And I have to say, the things that people say to themselves is brutal. Seriously, it's brutal. And I'm sure that every single one of you through your life at one point or another have said things to yourself that is absolutely disgusting, filthy. Do you deserve it? You don't really, if you think about it. But you still do it. We still do it. Does that make sense, this stuff? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's move on. So, I want us to try something. So please stand up, everybody. I like movement. Stand up. Okay, so there's something called, we can change our state of mind by the way we move our face and our bodies. Yes, everybody can kind of agree on that, right? Because if you're slouchy, then you're feeling crappy. And if you're like, so everybody, you don't have to get into this power pose. You can get into power pose like Superwoman pose. How fabulous. Hands on your hips like this, shoulders back and down. I want you to lift your eye gaze above the horizon, drop the shoulders back, lift your hearts. Imagine that you've got this like beaming light through your heart. Just lift your heart up, 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 look up, look up, look up. Think about something fabulous in your life, your superhero powers, whatever it is. Think about something that you love with your life. Stay in this pose, make it more intense, more intense, more intense, more intense. Stay. Now think about something really negative and depressing. Something really depressing. Life's so horrible. Don't change your pose. Life's so horrible. I hate my life. I can't believe they said that. Nobody likes me. I'm ugly. Blah de blah. Blah de blah. Can you see how that's hard to feel? She's laughing. Can you feel how hard it is to feel really negative when you're in your power pose? Do you notice that? It is, isn't it? Exactly, and when I said to you, say a bad thought, I saw some of you wanting to kind of drop that power pose. The thing is, when you're in a power pose, you can't think you're a loser, not to the same extent than if you are in your loser pose, which is obviously not this fabulous. Did you feel the impact of that? Yeah? Okay, sit down. Power posing has been studied, as everything is studied in the world, and Harvard did a study on power posing, which I found really fascinating. 3 things that they came up with. Number 1, it increases testosterone levels for men and women as much as up to 20%. Number 2, the drop in cortisol. This will be interesting for our doctor. Stress levels are dropped up to 22%. Obviously, that fluctuates, but that is a big, big number. It's not like 2%. It's a big number, right? The most important, the most interesting thing, I think, the last one, the likeliness for you to take action when you are in your power pose, 33% more. Because let's face it, it's Sunday morning, and you want to go for a run. And so you wake up in the morning and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go for a run. I'm just going to check what's on TV first. And then you drop down on the couch and you're in your pajama pants and then something awesome comes on, your favorite show, I don't know what. You pour yourself a coffee. The likeliness of you running, because you might also be feeling a bit sluggish and this and that, it's not that great. But if you would stand at the door with your shoes on in your power pose, wouldn't it be more likely that you'd go for your run? So that's when we can stop ourselves and think, where in my life do I sabotage for myself? And where do I actually help myself to take action? And that's not just physical action, that's everything action. That's action on making decisions. Because do you guys find it hard to make decisions? Yeah? So what's hard with making decisions?
Committing to that one thing, I guess.
Yeah. Because every time you make a decision, you say no to something and yes to something. And then your brain goes, but what if I say yes and no to the wrong thing? Right? And what's the repercussions? And then your brain's going to go into all these things that might happen, blah, 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 blah. So we make no decision, but then life happens, and the decision gets made anyway, but it's not by us, which means we give him our power away, and now it might be a decision that we don't want. And then we go, oh, you're such a loser. Do you see that? Does that happen sometimes? Happens sometimes. Yeah? Were you going to say something? No? You just did a thing. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. So, why are most people not leaders in their lives? When I talk about leader, I mean leader as in, because being a leader, I often talk about leader versus follower. And, you know, you can be a leader and a follower, and it doesn't matter if you're a leader or follower. Both of them are fabulous. But what we tend to do is we don't tend to step into our personal leadership, which means we become automatically followers, but it's not by choice. It's by autopilot. That's when I get red flags. If you want to be a follower, it's completely fine, but make the decision. But most people are either neither followers or leaders because they don't make a decision. And most people are not leaders for what reason? Can you think of some things why people are not leaders in their life? And I'm not talking about at work, I'm talking everywhere.
They don't have influence.
Hmm?
They don't have influence on anyone or anything.
Living in victim mode.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want responsibility.
Responsibility, who said that? Oh, there. Hi. Right? Because it's scary. Yeah, fear. Fear is that one word. Fear is the most toxic word, this is according to me, in the world. Fear. I believe that there's two things, love and fear. Hatred and evilness and all that kind of stuff, I believe, comes from fear. It's my cat, Phoebe. Do you know the Phoebe? She's so cute. That's what she does all the time. She goes under clothes and she is a leader, though. She dominates me massively. Anyway, most people do all of those things are 100% right. And most people, why we are not leaders and take action in our life is for one very, very important reason, and that is we don't know what we want. We don't know what we want. I don't know what I want. I know this. I grew up in a household where I had the most amazing, fabulous, extraordinary family. Everything was always full on, loud, go crazy, freedom, happiness, blah, blah, blah. And I was always the one, Anna never knows what she wants. Anna never knows what she wants. That's how I grew up. That was my limiting belief when I grew up. What do you want, Anna? Oh, well, do you have 10 minutes? How much have you got 2 hours to wait for Anna to figure it out? That wasn't because people were evil. It's because I really didn't know. I was the youngest of 4. My dad always told me what to do, which means I didn't have to know. So when I grew up, I had loads of those, I'm not sure what I want, because I never practiced it. Because how are you going to know how to ride a bike if you never try it? Most people don't practice knowing what they want, except for Loriana. I'm just kidding. I'm picking on you today. Isn't it true, though, if you don't know what you want, then you can't really be a leader, right? Because you don't know what you stand for. You don't know what you're doing. You kind of don't know anything, and your fears jump in. So I like the analogy you're talking about the car, and you're saying that thing about car crash, because I think that life, if you imagine that you've got a car, whatever car you drive, obviously a Volvo, which is obviously, hello, it's much better for car crashes, right? Because they're so safe. That's right. And you're in the car and you're driving. Now ask yourself in this moment right now, if you visualize it in your head, who is in the driving seat of your car? Is it you or your fears? Just think about it. And where do you sit? Do you sit in the passenger seat where you kind of jump in sometimes and like take over and then jump back? Or do you sit in the back seat? Or do you know what you are? Do you know who drives your life? Where are you?
I'm in driver's seat.
You're in the driver's seat. She's in the driver's seat. Feels good, right? Yeah, yeah. Were you always in the driver's seat? No.
I always had awareness though, and I think
Yeah.
some people just aren't aware.
Yeah.
And they're in that victim state,
Yeah.
in a fixed mindset.
Mhm.
They don't see that they have the power
Mhm.
of their own life
Mhm.
just based on the thoughts that they think. They allow their external environment
Yeah.
to create their happiness versus finding it within themselves. And I think that's where a lot of people fall off.
Yeah, and you said that really important word, awareness, because it's really about awareness. Because once you know something, you have to do something. When you don't know something, you don't really have to care. Oh, I didn't know that. It's like over there somewhere, but I don't have to deal with it. If you all of a sudden see it, it's like, ooh, now I have to make a choice, which we sometimes don't want to do. So, next slide, please. We don't know what we want. So how important is it to have a crystal clear vision of what you want in your life? So if I ask you right now, take every area of your life right now, do you have a, when I say, that word's hard, crystal clear vision of every single area of your life. Do you have that today? That's like when you're in school and you know the answer, you're so proud. Ask me! Did you always have a crystal clear vision, Jessie, of what you wanted? When I say crystal clear, it's not, oh, I'd like to have a job where I feel freedom. Oh, I'd like to make more money, or I'd like to live somewhere warm. That's not crystal clear. That's not going to get you anywhere. Crystal clear, I mean to the spot. How much money do you want to make? What kind of career do you want to have to the T? And what we tend to do is like, okay, I've got a vision, but because I don't even know how to get there, I'll start going, I don't know how to get there, and then I sabotage myself, and then I forget about my vision. And then that becomes like one of those. Can you identify with that? It's like, oh, that would be amazing. Oh my God, I don't know how to get there. Okay, delete, that's not gonna happen. We do it so quick, we don't even know we're doing it. So here is the question. Now let's do some work. Oh, first we're gonna go through this. This is a little bit of a stretched out version. I didn't find a better picture of this. I love this because this is kind of like interesting information about our mind. Most people live in their conscious mind, whereas where we have all of that willpower, the logic thinking that this and that and this and that, and then we live our life through there. But there's a whole world underneath called the subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind is where your values, your belief system, all of that stuff, all of the trained behaviors from your childhood, all those things live in your subconscious mind. Now sometimes your logical mind is trying to make a decision and it's not freaking working because there's something going on down here that you don't know, because this is underneath. And unless you do visualizations, which I do a lot of visualizations with my clients and also on my events that I run, closed eye visualizations where you get to experience things and get in a connection with your subconscious mind. Unless you do that, really dig, find out what is actually is going on in all of this, then sometimes you will have problems up here. This is like when you're saying, but I know I should do that. Why am I not doing that? It's like, logically, this makes sense. I go 1, 2, and then I do 3. But I keep doing 1, 2, and then I don't do 3. And then I get angry at myself. What a loser. All I need to do is do that. Just do it. Hello? Well, there might be something going on down here that's too juicy, and you don't really want to look at that because that's kind of like emotions, feelings, fluffy stuff that you think is going to freak you out. So you try the longest to just stay up here, and it doesn't work. That's when you have nervous breakdowns. And I've worked with clients who have gone very far. I've worked with numerous clients who have been suicidal. I've worked with numerous clients who have been on the edge of death in anorexia, all kinds of things, because they didn't identify their state of mind early enough and understand what's the driving force behind my thinking and how can I get to know this part. So this is very essential. So let's move on to the next one. Here you get to do some work. Now, anybody worked with the Wheel of Life before? Hands up. Yeah. So the Wheel of Life is something that looks different. I mean, when I do a business presentation, it looks different. When I do with you guys, it looks different. So you can put whatever you want. Basically, if you imagine that I only put 6 in, because if I put more than that, we'll sit here like till 5, which you're going to like fall asleep. So I put 6 pieces in here of things that I think are really important. Your career, your romance, and by the way, just to clarify, this is not are you single or are you in your relationship. If you're single, you're a loser. If you're in a relationship, you're 10. It's not that, okay? Just want you to know that. This is like, how am I feeling about that part? If I'm single, how do I feel about that? Am I happy 10 or am I happy 1? Health, money, fun, and nutrition is obviously, you know, how your nutrition, your food intake, that kind of stuff. So I want you right now to just put a number. Where are you? Happiness. So here's what you're going to do. Please pay attention. You got to do the circle, do the lines. If you are, I get dizzy getting in cars as well and on boats. So I'm trying not to look at this. Number 1, if you are not happy, 1, you put the 1 actually here. If you're a 5, I'm average, you put it here. If you're 10, here. Okay, go. 1 to 10, draw the circle, put the numbers and the words. How happy am I, 1 to 10? Because this is only 6 areas of your life, but it's a little bit of an indication of why your number was the way it was when we first asked you, how happy am I, 1 to 10? Oh, she's doing a proper one with like, oh. And by the way, the first thing that comes to your head, just put that. Because when we start thinking about it, it's like, oh, I think I'm a 3. Maybe I'm actually, just put whatever comes to you first. Yeah.
It's based on like how
Now. Not next month when you're going to buy a new car or whatever. I'm just making something up. Now, in this moment, now. Because your life changes, right? It's not always the same, which is the cool stuff about life. Yeah? Is it hard? Easy? Easy. 1, 2, 3. Have we done it? Now, once you've done that, because of time, I need to have somebody be my timekeeper too, because I'm Swedish anal. Have I? Okay. So for the sake of time, and by the way, I want you to take this home and do this at home, because I'm really big on giving homeworks. If you were my clients, you'd be like, oh no, and give me so much homework. But
Actually, 45.
45 minutes, not bad. So let's do 2 for the sake of just time. 2, okay, so pick the 2 triangles that has the lowest number. If all of them are 10, then pick 2 10s, okay, that you want to explore. 2 of the triangles that are the lowest number, and then ask yourself this question. What do I want in this area? Is my vision for this area crystal clear to a T? Moving forward a year from now, yep, that's exactly what I'm doing in this area. Do you have a crystal clear vision for your lowest numbers? Yeah. Yeah.
For example, when it comes to career, it's not really dependent on you 100%, right? And romance as well. There's always that other.
Right. So that's why I said in romance, basically is I'm not talking about a specific person coming in through the door and here's romance and now I'm a 10. I'm talking about how much romance do I have with myself, for example. How happy am I being by myself? How much in love am I with me? And then, because we're going to talk about relationships because that's one of my favorite things. Because, do you know, the place in relationships is where we have the most issues because it's the place where we're the most vulnerable. It's the place where we're the most vulnerable because it's that place that either we're vulnerable or we're out because we can't really be in and then pretend that, you know, and keep that thing up. We can for a while, but it normally goes quite crap. So how much, if I'm not in a relationship, do I have a vision of how happy I want to be about what's my vision of who I want to be, basically? Have you got an idea of what you want in all these areas? I mean, not all these areas, do 2 areas with the lowest. Have you got an idea of what you want? Yes? Okay, let's go. Cool, we'll come back to that. I like this slide. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Because, so here's where you are: product, thoughts, habits, rituals, state, mindset, blah, de, blah, de, blah. Here's where I want to be. Great, let's just do it then. No, it doesn't work that way. It would not be easy. Snap. Oh, I just did that. I'm just that person now. I just have that, whatever it is that I want. It's not about what you want. It's who am I being now so that I can have that then. Who do I have to be if I want that? Can I have that being the same as I am now in my mindset? Or is it something that I need to work on to be able to get what I want? Does that make sense? Yeah? All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Are you guys okay? Need to stretch? No? Okay. Okay, so who do you have to become then? If you want to have that fantastic life, live in that like mansion in, I don't know, Ibiza, I'm just making that up. Could be anywhere. It could be Dubai. Who do you have to become to be that person that has all of that? Who do you have to become to have your ultimate relationship? Who do you have to become to be a millionaire if that's what you want? Who do you have to become? Because we all have different dreams. You know, somebody might want to be world champion in their lifting. Who do you have to become? You can't become a world champion over here if you're over here going, I'm a loser, right? Please say no. Unless you do the work, right? Because lifting is extremely mindset driven. Like, you got a crappy mindset, you got a crappy lift sometimes. I mean, there's always exceptions, but in general. So who do you have to become? The first thing you need to do is fall in love with you. Oh, cheesy, Anna. So cheesy. It's not though, is it? Love is amazing. I think love is just the best thing in the world. Oh, so here's a question. Write on the piece of paper, do you love yourself, yes or no? Please do not, you don't have to share this, so don't be like, yes, because if she asks me, I need to look like I do or love my no. Just put it, do you love yourself, yes or no? It's a yes or no question. It's not a, yeah, I sometimes do if I show up like this. I sometimes do if I make my lift. I sometimes do if people, you know, smile at me. No, no, no. Do you love yourself 100% yes or no? Does this make you feel things? Do you love yourself? Do you ask yourself, huh?
What does love mean?
It's a good question. What's it mean for you?
No, what does love mean?
Yeah, what's it mean for you?
For me, it's just being me, creation, extension of God.
Mm-hmm. So see how that's...
I think the beauty of that, because we don't want to make love conditional. We don't want to make love a state of ego where you love yourself to a point where you think you're better than other people, when we are all equal. So I think people need to redefine what they think what love is.
And it's a good point there, because love is whatever you believe it is, right? If that's...
It's not an action, because people think love is an action as well.
And for you, it's a creation or an extension, maybe,
Extension
of the... Right. Right. Yeah. It's a very personal. Love is very personal, and it can be everything. Let's move on to the next one. So this is what I find fascinating. So this is obviously a baby, and it's not me. And could be me, actually. So when we're born, we are born in love, right? This is what I believe. When we're born in love. Have you ever seen like a young kid like running around doing the thing and like, you know, grabbing some sort of stick, pretending it's like being superheroes, so it's a gun, like, yeah, like dressing up in whatever. I'm going to the supermarket, I want to be in my superhero outfit. Like, I don't give a crap, I'm just going to do it. So we are born, and then we're just in love with us, the world, everything. Then what happens to us? We go to school. Teacher says, you can't do that. You can do this. This is wrong. This is right. Not saying school's bad. Just not put it out there. There's regulations. What happens is we start to unlove ourselves and start to think we have to adapt certain things to be loved by others. So we kind of abandon ourselves. And I'm not saying that you do this. Maybe you don't. But I'm talking about what most people do. Most people abandon themselves, and most of our belief systems are developed when we are children. And it can be from our family members, it can be from our teachers, it can be from somebody else in our close, it could be a trainer, it could be anybody that says something, and they're not even thinking about what they're saying, because everybody's doing the best that they can. It's not like your parents are bad or good. They just did the best that they could. They didn't know that when they said to me, oh, Anna can never make up her mind, I was going to grow up being, oh my God, I don't know if I can make my mind up about things because I don't know what's right and wrong. I have to ask everybody else. They didn't think at that point that was going to happen. But that's what happens. We start to unlove ourselves, and then we outsource our attention to other people. And if that person says that to me, that means I'm good enough. And if I do that, then I know people will like me. And then we try and have this like game to try and fit into all these different places, because if we're ourselves, they might not like us. I, for example, when I work with people that have very nasty childhood where one family member left, for example. So mom or dad left. They got divorced, family member left. I notice a tendency in those clients that they always have a fear of, I'm not good enough. And if I do something that you don't like, you're going to leave me and I'll be abandoned. That means I have to outsource all of my opinions to other people to make sure people like me. Because otherwise they will abandon me, because even my mom abandoned me. Even she left me because I wasn't good enough. Did she say you weren't good enough? No. But that's how they get created in our system. But it's nothing bad with that. It's just once we realize that, it's like, oh, okay, well now I can do something about it. Because it's just a belief. It's nothing else but a belief. So if you go to the next page, which is about relationships. I love relationships. Can you see that? Who do you become in a relationship? Who do you become in a relationship? The 3 levels of relationship that I want to talk about today are these 3. First level of relationship, and you might have been in some of these. So the first level of relationship is when you're with somebody who says, you got to fill my needs and that's it. Finished. So basically, I'm the shit and I don't care about what you say. Kind of like slightly narcissistic, slightly. And by the way, that person that says that is so filled with fears and limitations of their own and think they're losers and all kinds of stuff. So most of the time when people show up like nasty narcissists in relationship, they're like 2 years old inside, dying because nobody loves them. Because all of us have a 5-year-old or a 2-year-old inside of us still living with us. And most of the time, if you are a very aggressive, angry, nonchalant person, you have abandoned your 5-year-old and tell that little baby, girl, boy that they're not good enough. It's not until you become best friends with your little child that you can have a healthy relationship with yourself. Anybody knows anybody who's been in a relationship like that? Number 1. I'm the boss and you just follow my lead. Yeah? It's not very healthy, is it? Toxic, right? Second level, I will meet you. This is where most people live, by the way. Most people live here because they don't believe there's another level they can live at. It's not because people are bad, it's because we just don't know. I meet your needs if you meet my needs. You have expectations and there's conflict. That's when, I took out the trash yesterday, and today you have to take out the trash. I did the dishes yesterday, today you have to do the dishes. There is a conflict that happens when you have expectations and rules in relationships. And then you say, yeah, but we have to, because otherwise people use you, right? Not necessarily. Can you see that relationship? Do you know people that are in that relationship? It's like it's a trade. I do that if you do that. When you are in relationships like that, there's loads of blame. The fights that you have in that relationship is, I can't believe you did that. I did that yesterday. And by the way, I'm going to say that everybody, but not everybody, of course. Most people have lived in relationships like that. I've been in relationships like that.
Can a relationship evolve?
Of course. Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. Oh, if you're living in a relationship like that, it can 100% evolve. But the one thing that I would give you as a tip, if you're living in a relationship that's like this, do not expect the other person to change. They will not change. You have to change. It's like if you want a better life, you have to change. Life's not going to come and give you. But what we tend to do is we sit and wait. Now I told him, and I know this happens in all of our relationships. Now I told him that I need this. He still doesn't do it. So then we're waiting for that, which means we're focused on one thing, and we all fall back into it over and over again, focused on one thing, and then we don't see all the other stuff that maybe he does do, because we're so focused on this thing that we're not getting, and so we kept being pissed off about that, and then there's another conflict. So if you can go into the level 3, all of your needs are my needs, and you trade all of those expectations to, and this is a really good tip I want to give you if you're in a relationship, that is number 2. If you're in a relationship where you're waiting and expecting them to do things, if you can stop yourself in that moment and go, okay, I'm going to turn this around from expecting that to what do I appreciate about this person? What's the reason I fell in love with that person? And look at the things that you appreciate. Your mind is going to deviate from being stuck in that rut, what will take you down. Being dependent on getting something in a relationship is extremely toxic. We're coming back to, we talked about love. I don't know what we're talking about. If we're in a relationship or not. Like when you are in love with you, then you can live more easily in this place because you don't need somebody to give you something to be happy. If they give me this, if they don't tell me I'm beautiful, then, you know, then he must obviously be crap and my relationship is crap. It's like, but what is it that makes you need somebody to say that to you? Why? For what reason? Apart from it being feeling good and it would be nice. Does it make sense? Yeah? I like this thing down here. Do what you did in the beginning of your relationship. At the end of your relationship, there won't be any end. Because isn't it true, if you believe it's the beginning of something, it's different than if you think it's the end of something. If you think it's the end of something, it's like, and his socks are so smelly, and he's always watching TV. In the beginning, you're like, oh, it's so cute, he leaves his socks on the couch. I'll share something with you. My mom was just here visiting me for 3 months. Absolutely incredible woman, love her to pieces. My partner and my mom are like 2 kids. My partner, he's so in love with my mom. She's like 49 kilos, so she's a little bit more now. And my partner is very big. He like picks her up, throws her around. It's very cute. My partner always, some of you know him, always leaves his sock. And by the way, my mom buys all his socks. And they're all Swedish with like elks and all kinds of stuff on them. He always leaves them every single day on the couch. Now, I have 2 ways of looking at it. What do you choose to focus on? What meaning do you give it? What action do you take? My mom says, he's always leaving his socks on the couch. I'm like, yeah, that's so cute. I go in the morning and I go, where's the socks? There they are. And then I put them in the washing machine. And it's cute. It's what he does. If he doesn't leave his socks, I'd be surprised. I think it's cute. But I could be like, and his socks are still on the couch, and I've told him over and over again. See how toxic my life would be if I keep thinking that way? Because he's going to keep putting his socks there. He's not going to change that. Why would he change it? Because I get pissed off? If he wants to leave his socks there, I have to figure out a way to find that cute. I actually find it cute. I'm like, oh, there they are. But see how your life can be so different depending on if you think things are cute or if they piss you off, right? All right, have we got some ideas of a relationship stuff? Yeah? Okay, let's move on. So, the 4 levels of consciousness. I'm going to go through these 4 levels of consciousness, and the first level is life happens to me. So most people, I would say all the clients I've ever worked with, apart from a few people, have lived most of their life in this place. Life happens to me is victim mode, where, oh my God, it's not my fault. I'm sure you've heard about people say, oh yeah, but it's because my dad did that, my mom did that, it's because I was sick, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. We kind of live in the reaction. We're sitting in the back seat of our own car. We've handed over life to circumstances. But when we're living in the circumstance land, then it's kind of scary, because actually we don't know where we're going, and we don't know what's going to happen, and we have to react to everything that happens. We're not in charge of our own life. Victim mode is like this. Anybody press the snooze button in the morning? And by the way, if you do, I'm not going to kill you for it. Look at this is like, does that mean sometimes, or like I don't want to talk about it?
I do it less now because I've got clients.
Because you got clients. Because you got clients. But people press snooze button? Yes? 8 times!
I used to be like that, but they started giving me burpee punishments, so.
I'd like to know how long the intervals are for your snooze button. Must be like
Not that long. 9.
10 minutes times 8. Do you do the math?
Like I was just thinking, like I get up knowing that there's clients waiting for me, but if I had to get up to go and train, I would press snooze. So if it was for me, I'd press snooze.
So Liz, you said something super important there. How many times do we not give ourselves what we give others? So, huh? Hallelujah moment. From a doctor's perspective, when you press the snooze button, what happens in your brain? So we sleep 90-minute cycles. So our sleeping cycles are about 90 minutes, right? So if you imagine that you're sleeping, so 2 things, according to me, 2 things happens when you press the snooze button. It's not just, oh, but it's an extra 10 minutes, it's okay. No, it's not okay. 2 things happen. Number 1, you sleep in patterns of 90 minutes. So you sleep, you wake up. When you press the snooze button, you start another pattern, you start another cycle, and then you interrupt it that easy, that fast. You will be more tired than if you got up, and it will last longer. Don't you notice that when you don't snooze, you have more energy, right? And that's what happens inside of you. I'm not talking about emotional thing. I'm talking about what actually happens. Number 2, every time you press the snooze button, you start your day by saying, you are not important. I'm going to outsource my willpower to my victim mode. That's how you start your day. I'm going to abandon my 5-year-old and just forget about what you just said, that I need to get up. I'm just going to abandon that. So you abandon yourself instantly when you wake up. You start your day by abandoning yourself. And then a lot of people do it, and it makes us feel good in the moment, which is what most things do that are not always good for us. It's the quick pleasure things that we do, like sex, drugs, rock and roll, alcohol, blah, de blah. They feel great, but they might not necessarily be what we actually need. So by waking up in victim mode, maybe you press the snooze button and you get out of bed. First thing you think about, oh no, it's Monday morning, which obviously is the beginning of something bad for some people because you have to go to work. It's not in Dubai or Monday morning or Sunday morning for us. It's not Thursday, which you would jump out of bed. Isn't that funny? It's just a different day. You could do the same thing if you wanted to. And then your whole day kind of follows with that victim mentality. You know, I have to get up, and then you don't have time to take a shower because you were late because you snoozed, and then I don't eat because it's not important. You fix your face, and then you go. Do you leave your house every day being the best version of you? Does your brain right now think, yeah? Does your brain right now think, oh, yeah, no, that's not possible, it's bullshit? Does your brain think that right now? No? Cool. Cool. Because you can. You can every day, every single day, make it a choice. And by the way, the more you do things over, my clients get so pissed off with me because I'm so anal, pathetically anal with saying you've got to make things a must every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Repetition, right, Liz? You're not going to be a squatter. You're not going to pull 200-kilo deadlift one day if you don't do continuous repetition. What most people do is they do it for a while when they feel inspired. I'm so inspired, it's so amazing, oh my God, we're having so much fun. And then I'm not inspired anymore, and then I stop doing it. That's what we all do, which means you're not going to be a winner in your life. You're not going to be a leader. You're going to be it for a while, and then you're going to allow momentum, inspiration. I'm not inspired. You have to do it anyway. Are you inspired every time to go lift? Are you kidding me? Nobody got anywhere with being inspired all the time. Nobody. But we have a tendency to live in victim mode. So that's the first level. You can press another button and it says, when you go to the next level, you have to let go of something. So in victim mode, we're obviously letting go of blame. Blame is a massive thing that lives in victim mode. It's like, oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that happened. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. So we outsource our responsibility. We live in blame. If you want to go up to the next level, where you believe that life happens by me, this is a place where loads of entrepreneurs live. Lots of people that I'm coaching that are starting up their new business, because I coach a lot of new business owners or trainers or people that just start their career, live in hustle mode, where you believe that I'm going to hustle hard, I'm going to work like crazy person, everything is my responsibility, I'm either good or bad. These people are very much living in the place of like I either fail or I succeed, and it's all on me. Very heavy, very hardcore. They take personal responsibility for everything. If I fail, I'm a loser. If I fail, I'm a loser. It's a very hard place to live in. I'm sure you know people that live in by me. Yeah. They become very successful, absolutely, but then they burn out. Oh, see? That's right. Right? Because it's like you're burning both candles. I'm sure you have that in English language too, right? When you burn candles on both sides? Yeah. In the middle. Hey?
A little wax in the middle, right?
Little wax in the middle. All right. Next level. She's so good. You can have that extra shot still there. Okay. The next level is through me. If you can live through me, ladies, I was going to say ladies and gentlemen, ladies, sorry, don't forget about the gentlemen, they're not here. Ladies, then your life will be in so much more flow. Celebrate every outcome. Celebrate every outcome. Don't take yourself for granted and say, of course I got up early because I'm supposed to get up early. No, be like, oh my God, I actually got up early. Yeah. Celebrate it. Like, be aware that you're doing something for you. Be aware of focus. In this level, you're not aware that whatever you focus on becomes your life. It's like you're living in a tunnel. People like that, they go very far, but they're also very broken inside. And it's kind of hard once you get to the end of that to put yourself together. It's hard work.
So they're never happy.
Sorry?
They never get to the
No.
end of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. They're never really happy, but they do other things, quick fix of pleasure, alcohol, drinking, food, alcohol and drinking. It's kind of the same thing. Smoking. It's not really the same thing, but I'm just saying. In this place, you have to let go of the complete personal control. Everything is my fault. I'm either loser or winner. You have to think, okay, if whatever I focus on, there's another level. If I know and understand that whatever I focus on becomes my life, I'm now aware, and I can now get help from something external greater than me. And you don't have to believe in God or universe or something like that. But there's something else. There's always energy. We talked about energies with Sonia as well. Understand that whatever I'm focusing on in that moment actually becomes my life. Letting go of the control and embracing a thing that most people don't like. Uncertainty. I don't have to know, and I'm still okay. You're less hard on yourself when you can live in through me. Last level is obviously a level which is, I put Nelson Mandela because I think he's a brilliant example of somebody living in ask me. Let go of judgment, which is super hard. Super hard to live in a place where you let go completely of judgment. Very, very, very few people that I've ever met really live here. Everything is about unconditional love, Mother Teresa energy, that whole energy of love no matter what, no judgment. It's something, when you meet a person like this, it's like they belong to a different sphere, and you can feel it. It's actually quite overwhelming. I've met a few of those people in my life. I'm very honored. Does this make sense? Yeah? Do you have questions about that, or do you, anything? No? Oh yeah.
How do you find that progression happens? Is it because you meet some people who are in their 50s and 60s who are always in the to-me mode, and no matter what you say to them, it's like you cannot penetrate that wall.
No.
What is the biggest piece of the mindset that you see someone go from to me to as me?
It's, you can't penetrate it because they're living in fear. So if you try, for example, say you've been living 50 years having one mindset, and then you say something, and by the way, where people react the most is where people know where you hit a nerve. So if you try and say something, they're like trying to not listen to you, don't want to listen to you. You've hit something that they know, maybe not, remember the subconscious, conscious mind? Maybe they don't know it in where they live mostly in their conscious. It's something that got hit in their subconscious mind that knows that you're right, but because they are so freaking scared and ashamed or whatever it is, they don't want to face it, they put up the wall. How you get people, I mean, when I get them in my chair, I get them there. Because then they've chosen to come see me. So it's about understanding something's not working in my life. I mean, loads of my clients come because something's not working over here, and as soon as I see them, I'm like, that's not even a thing. It's over here. So when you go in that, and then you bring awareness, we talked about before, you become aware, you're like, oh my God, I can actually change my life. Right? Yeah.
Is it possible to be shifting between these levels?
Absolutely. 100%. Oh yeah. We all do that. How many of us don't come in victim mode? Even though we think we're like, oh my God, I've got it going on, everything's fabulous, I'm living through life, it's amazing, everything is love. And then you jump back to victim mode. We all do it. But what I'm talking about is living on a permanent basis. It's difference between jumping into it and hanging out there to make that your identity. Can you see in your life people living in different places?
Yeah,
Hey?
And all of those.
Yeah, even here? Ask me? Yeah, cool. Yeah. Yeah? Cool. Let's go. Are we done? Oh yeah. We'll hold you back. It's such an intense picture. There's so much love there, huh? Could be. Well, it depends on what you choose to focus on. He's stroking there. And so what holds us back in life? Ourselves, right? Ourselves, it's our head which gets filled with crap. How many minutes? Good. Our head gets filled with crap because we tell ourselves crap. That's it. Because if somebody says to you, you're really ugly, you've got an ugly nose, it doesn't actually even belong to you. It only does if you choose to make it belong to you. Oh my God, I've got an ugly nose. That's why I'm always going to be single. Like, that's not. Right? Huh?
So that, like, that's going to stop you from getting married.
Look at her. She's like, I love it. I just made that an example. It could be anything. So what holds us back is our limitations that we put on ourselves, and it's our responsibility to do something about it. Hit me. So, what are your top 3 limiting beliefs? And let me see if the next slide is, no. What are your top 3 limiting beliefs right now? Write them down. If you don't know what a limiting belief, huh?
I can tell you.
Oh my God, she wants to share it. Go.
Culture, religion, tradition.
So those are 3 things. What is your belief around culture, religion? What's your personal, so culture triggers you?
I have a belief, but that's what's limiting me from my beliefs.
So can you hear that that's a limiting belief?
Yes.
Yeah. My culture, I don't know, I'm making something up now. My culture holds me back from living my dream.
Yes.
Yeah? Yes. That's a limiting belief. Is it true?
Here, aren't I?
That's right, baby.
But I'm not all the way. Not all the way where I want to be, where
Yep.
I want to live,
Yep.
where I want to go.
Yep.
But I am on my way. I'm 30. It's enough time.
You got.
As long as my parents don't marry me off, I'm good.
And it's good that you brought that up because I do work with people from everywhere, and I do work with local clients from this country as well. And obviously, culture plays in a role when it comes to certain things that you're allowed. Where is our Saudi girl? Where's she? There? No. Oh, there's the Saudi girl who did the workout this morning. She left. You from Saudi too? Ah, cool. Didn't know that. But you live here? Temporarily. Okay. Okay. She probably had to bust a few limitations to do what she does. You have to bust a few limitations, but it is a cultural thing. How much are you willing to push? So that's a whole different thing. We're not talking about that right now, but that's definitely a very, very valid point. Limitations that people have. Please write down your 3 top limitations. And I can tell you some of the limitations that I come across every day. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Or I'm not smart enough. Or I'm not good looking enough. Or, you know, I will never be able to make my career happen. I'm too old. I've got too much wrinkles. By the way, wrinkles is not external, it's an internal fear. Isn't it funny? You've met people that are being like extremely overweight, maybe if you're a trainer or whatever, you train them and they become skinny, but their head's still going, I'm fat. Right? Because that limitation is not part of your body, it's in your head. And that's where you gotta go. You gotta go, it's like a virus that goes in and it toxifies you. It's like drinking poison. So write down your 3 top limiting beliefs. Next slide is one of the beliefs that people have, and I'm talking about every single person I've ever worked with has an opinion around this. I'm not talking about the dude on that, because this is basically this. It's a piece of paper, right, with a dead dude on it. I think he's dead. He looks so old, I'm assuming he's dead. What's up with the hair? Maybe that's what Trump's doing. He's trying to look like this guy. I'm kidding. That's really bad. Don't film that. Cut. Money. Most people are not over the top wealthy. Like I'm talking about people across the entire world. Most people are not wealthy, which means most people's families will have opinions about money. Money is the one thing that makes a lot of families break up, for example. Money is something that can destroy you if you let it. A lot of people are scared of money. For example, growing up in a family where you hear things like, money doesn't grow on trees, we can't afford that. Money is the foundation of all evil. Have you heard that? That's so much bullshit. Evil is the foundation of evil. Money is a paper with a dead person on it. It's pathetic. But we say that because it makes us feel good. Oh, it's the foundation of all evil. Let's get together and hate money because money brings everything down to the... But how are we ever going to be able to make any money in our life when we have a mentality that money is evil? I work with people that are very high level in their organizations, and some of them have dreadful relationship with money. Oh, they become super successful at what they do, but their relationship with money is, my dad always said to me, people with money are assholes. Now I'm making money. That means I'm an asshole. I know it sounds so low level, but it's true. Our limiting beliefs are crazy. They destroy us. Because I never challenged the fact that my dad used to say that. Was he a bad person? No. He said that because he was scared of money. And then his dad was scared of money and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm inheriting that. That means I never make money. If I make money, I waste it. I did a study when I was in university because I found it fascinating, this whole thing with people that bet on money. Bet on, on these like gamble and all that, all that kind of stuff. And I found it fascinating. What is it that makes people do that and become obsessed to the point where it becomes an obsession, like smoking or another addiction that you have? Most people that do that are not wealthy. Most people come from a place where they are brought up with a really bad mindset around money, and they think if I just have money, I'll be happy. Like if I'm just skinny, I'll be happy. If I'm just whatever, I'll be happy. But it's not true, because inside they don't think that they're worthy of making money. So then all of a sudden they make money. What happens? They panic. Because we all have this like thermostat in ourselves. We've talked about this, you know, because you're on my academy. All have a thermostat in our body of how much we think we are worthy. So if we think we're worthy, our financial thermostat is like 20% out of 100. So 20 degrees we are okay with. 20 degrees means I make 10,000 dirhams a month. I'm making something up here. I'm just throwing it out there. 10,000 dirhams a month, that's okay. I have friends that make around the same, which means I'm okay. I don't look stingy. I don't look bad or anything like that, you know. And then all of a sudden I win in the lottery, and all of a sudden my thermostat goes up to 100. I go into complete panic mode. And what happens? I spend all of it quickly, because I don't deserve this money. I don't deserve it. I'm now the person that people hate. I am greedy. I'm arrogant. I'm an asshole. People think that I'm bad. My friends don't like me anymore. Blah, de, blah, de, blah. And so what happens? You spend it. Have you ever come across people like that spend enormous amounts of money? Doesn't mean that they're spending it from a place of power. They could be spending it from a place of, I'm not good enough to have this money. You don't know. So what I do is I dig into that, because that is very important, especially if you wanted to have your own career and your own company, because that's going to be the make or break for your business. Let's go for the next slide. So quickly, what is the number one limiting belief? Can you pick the number that was your lowest number on your thing? The lowest number, and ask yourself, what is my number one limiting belief that holds me back from having this be a 10 and now it's a 3? What's my number one limiting belief? For example, I'm never going to be healthy because, you know, I'm not, I don't know, not good enough for that or whatever. I always fail. Because remember, your brain's always going to look for what we did last time. If you were in a nasty relationship, you get into the next relationship, your brain's going to go back into the library and say, well, your last one was crap, the next one's going to be crap, all they're going to be crap. So you've destroyed it before you even go into it. Very normal. I see it all the time. Write down your number one limiting belief in your lowest one. What is it? Did you write it already? Yeah? Wow. Did you write it? Are you surprised over what you wrote? I'm laughing, but you know when you can laugh at your limiting belief, like, I'm ugly. Pfft, what? It's not even true. I can't cook.
It's because we never touched upon nutrition, so it never was on my focus before.
There you go. Interesting, right? So see how I can't cook will hold you back your entire life?
Well, I still cook. I'm terrible at it.
Terrible compared to whom?
Compared to the restaurants I go and eat from.
She brought up a really good point. This is what people say to me. Oh, I'm a terrible dancer. Oh, really? Compared to whom? Michael Jackson? Everybody's a terrible dancer. But if you compare yourself to like your granddad or maybe who you were last week, you're a good dancer. If you're going to compare yourself to the Michelin restaurants, you're going to be crap. No, any restaurant, you're going to be semi-crap.
Trust me, I can't cook. I poison myself.
Okay, next week we're all having a party at your house. That's it. Don't worry, we'll bring the groceries. Seafood.
It's at your own risk.
No worries. All right, did you put your limiting belief? Yeah? Okay, let's go. Boom. All right, what do? Challenge your limiting beliefs. I'm going to speed it up because I'm aware we've got probably at 7 minutes or something with my Swedish timing. 7? Okay, okay. First question, look at your limiting belief. Ask yourself, really, and don't be pathetic. I'm a victim. Yes, it's true. No, it's not true. Look at it. Is it true? Look at it. Is it true? Is it true?
Oh, it really is.
No, it's not true.
I burnt a slow cooking meal.
You burnt a slow cooking meal, but you can cook an egg, right?
There's point 2, right?
Point 2. When did you decide that you were a shit cook? When you cooked your slow meal and it burnt?
When I moved to Dubai, because I had to cook for myself.
Can you see that there might be a bit of knowledge that you need to maybe like incorporate for you to like? Next one.
Someone gave you the protein house.
Yes.
Why do I keep believing this? Because
I cook every week and it doesn't get any better.
No, do I want to keep believing this? Do you want to keep believing that you're a crap cook?
Yes.
You want to keep, so you want to live in victim mode. Should I come down there and strangle you?
I'm joking.
She's scared now. I'm coming down on you. Okay, number 4. If I keep believing this my entire life, what am my life going to look like? I am 65 and I don't know how to cook an egg. I'm just making this up. Huh?
That's not cooking, that's boiling.
That's cooking. That's all I eat. Eggs. Love eggs.
That's all I eat for safety reasons too.
Safety reasons. All right, ask yourself, if I keep believing this, how will my life turn out? Really, be honest with yourself. If you keep believing that you're ugly, keep believing that you're not smart, what's your life going to look like? You're going to keep living in victim mode, by the way. This is what we do. Number 5. Do you want to believe, what do you want to believe instead? Now, this is a very powerful thing. If you've got a limiting belief in your head that says, I am not good looking enough, I'm just making something up. And that's exactly it. What do you want to believe instead? Say something like that. What's the opposite of what you are saying to yourself every day? I'm always going to be poor. Make something up. And when you make it up, you might be like, that's not true. But if you keep saying it to yourself every day, you'll start to believe it. Because we believe everything we tell ourselves. In the beginning, maybe not, but we have to do it consistently, right? 6, power pose. I am an abundance queen. I'd bring Muhammad Ali up here because he did that before his fights, right? I'm the best boxer in the world. I'm the best boxer in the world. Like, he got all these affirmations out there. It works. I wake up every single morning saying I'm unstoppable in the mirror. Like, I have massive morning rituals that I do every day. Every day. And then I end up waking up, and I'm already in that state because my body's so conditioned. You wake up, boom, 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 in front of the mirror. I'm doing it physically. Movement together with emotions have a bigger impact on you. And you can do that yourself. Yeah.
Since you mentioned a boxer,
Yeah.
next to me, not too long ago, there was a huge fight, right? And the guy lost. But when they interviewed him, he was like, no, I won this. And people were making fun of it because it wasn't really true. Like, he clearly lost and got knocked out. But he woke up and we were like, oh, this guy's crazy. But he himself, he wanted to believe that he was going to make it maybe in the second round or the next fight. And it was something that I was thinking that when you believe in yourself, and this is why I believe sometimes you can't tell people your goals, because then they start hating on you, you know? Then it's easy for you to believe the negative stuff that people say and not the good stuff, because like you said, it's easier to...
It is easier. It's easier, and you can train yourself to turn that around so that you can share and stand in that power. Yeah. Last one, empowering statement. So I want you guys to think about, what's the next one after that? Is there another one?
Yep.
Practice. Okay, next one, practice. So I want you right now to think of one move and one word or 2 words or a sentence that you can say to yourself that will make you feel like boom. Like when you wake up in the morning, like, I'm unstoppable. I do that in the mirror. I swear to God. I'm unstoppable. Sometimes Patrick's like, oh my God, Anna, can you close the door? I'm unstoppable. I swear to God. Think of one move and one word. Write it down now. One move. Remember power pose? You can do anything. Box, tuck jump, jumping jacks. I don't know what you want to do. Anything. One move, one word, or one move, one sentence that you can do every single morning to get yourself into peak performance state, get yourself out of victim mode, and you don't have time to think about what a loser you are when you're having your empower statements. Next picture. So very quickly, I know we're out of time, so big time now, right? Okay, I'm gonna have to skip the whole thing, but this, I want you, please take a picture of this, or write it down, do whatever you want. This, when you understand this, your life's gonna change forever. Forever, because this is the foundation. I talked about it in the beginning. Certainty. If you believe and you are certain that you have potential to do something, i.e., I am certain I'm going to rip that bar off the floor, how much action do you take? I go in, I've got a brutal mindset, I grab the bar and I freaking rip it. What's the result? I get it off the floor. What's the belief system? I'm a rock star. I'm amazing. If you believe, I'm shit, I'm crap, I'll never succeed with anything, how much action do you take? None. In like results? Belief? I'm a loser. It really is that simple. Like if you look at this, like put it into your life and something that's not working for you. Ask yourself, what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you have, because how much potential does human beings have?
Hello.
Exactly, mashallah. Potential that we have as human beings are crazy. But we're born and brought up looking at other people like, oh, they're so amazing. Look, she opened this gym. She's so amazing. I could never do that. It's crazy. I'm not taking... if I wanna, I'm not taking away the effort, but I'm saying you can capable of doing anything, but you've got to get this right first. And if you don't know how to be certain, have potential, you call me. We'll figure it out. Please make sure that you put this into your life. I'm not going to go through it more because I know I could, and it's so awesome, and I love it, and I'm obsessed with it. But okay, you're a product of your rituals. We just talked about it. Just to finish off, your morning is the most essential time of your day because when you wake up is when your senses are the most open for impact. If you are one of those people, I'm telling you right now, that pick up your phone in the first 10 minutes of your day, you destroy your life. And I'm not talking just about that mechanical thing that we talked about with Sonia. I'm talking about your life. As soon as you open the phone and look at something, you've outsourced your power to the external world. They are now dominating your life. Whatever's on there will have an impact on you. You're no longer in charge. You need to get out of your bed, get into the mirror and go, I'm a fucking rock star. Get yourself into peak performance. Then you can look at the world. Because then you're ready. So I want you all, for your own sake, and I would love you to feed back to me or through Jessie, because I am obsessed with homeworks. Put together one morning ritual that you want to do every single day. Don't tell me you don't have time. You set the alarm 15 minutes early. I don't care if you get up at 3, get up at 2. I'm serious. If you want a better life, you have to have a morning ritual. Next slide. All right, I'm not going to do this. You can take a picture and do this at home because we're out of time. What's one step that I can take today to get me closer? So for you, health, take a cooking class.
That was nutrition, not health. Health is fine.
Nutrition, take a cooking class. That's one step. Then you're going to believe I have potential. I just cooked a roast dinner. I'm amazing. Action, result. I'm amazing. I'm a cook. Easy, YouTube. Okay? Take a picture.
Sorry.
All right, next one. So in this part, we were all going to stand it up and do this whole, our own move and our own affirmations together. But I don't think we have time for that. But I want you to do that at home. I want you to do the affirmation and the power move. Please tell me, yes, I'm going to do it, Anna. Yes. All right, next slide, we're done. Thank you.